Evening. I'll call the meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. And we'll begin with a roll call.
Councilmember Elias. Here. Councilmember Camacho.
Here.
Councilmember Lara.
Here.
Mayor Dr. Sanchez.
Here. Thank you. Let's go next to the invocation.
If everyone can please stand and bow your head. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for the privilege of allowing the members of council for serving as elected officials for the city of Pico Rivera. I pray for those who are in positions of authority and leadership, thanking you for their commitment and dedication for our city. Help us to discern between good and bad choices and to make wise decisions that will contribute to the growth and the integrity of our city and work for the benefit of our community. In your name, we pray. Amen.
Will you please face the flag and repeat after me?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, you can let the record reflect Mayor Pro Tem has arrived. City Manager, do we have any changes to the agenda this evening?
Yes, Mayor, on item number 4, continuing that to the next council meeting, we have some language that needs to be modified in there.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll move on to the public comments. I believe we have some comments regarding item number 4. To those in the room this evening, if you would like to comment, you're welcome. However, the item on rent control has been pulled from this evening and will be discussed at the next meeting. So I will call the individuals up first on other items. Let's call up Lauren Talbot regarding our library updates.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Lauren Talbot. I'm the Community Library Manager at Pico Rivera Library and Rivera Library. I have some updates for the month of October. Both Pico Rivera Library and Rivera Library are participating in the In and Out Cover to Cover program, where kids ages 4 to 12 can earn a gift card by reading 5 books. And this gift card is good for a free hamburger or cheeseburger from In and Out, and kids can earn up to 3. This program continues until November 1st, so please come by the library and sign up your kids. For Hispanic Heritage Month, the Pico Rivera Library Book Club will be discussing Isabel Caña's novel, The Hacienda, on Tuesday, October 18th at 6 p.m. on WebEx. Please call or visit the library to receive an invite. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I will call up Zita Rodriguez.
Good evening, Mayor and Honorable Council people. My name is Zita Rodriguez, and I've lived in the city for many years. Anyway, I brought a problem to one of the councilmen about 2 months ago, and to Mr. Mike Garcia. And I want to thank Gustavo Camacho and Mike Garcia for taking care of the problem, which was very, very quickly. I complained about all the business flags that were in the corner of Whittier and Rosecrans because they make the city look very trashy, and they cleaned it up. And I'm here to thank the councilman and Mr. Mike Garcia. Another thing I want to bring up. Before COVID-19 started, you could make a U-turn on Washington and Rosemead. And we were able to participate with the vendors or the businesses on the left side. Now, all of a sudden, you change that turn, and you can only make a left turn I want to know why was this done? That was ridiculous because you want to bring businesses into the city, and yet you barricade people from going to their businesses. We're residents. If we make a left turn, we know where to go in order to get to King Taco or the Sizzler that was there. But people are not residents, and they want to go to these places. They have to make a left turn. They don't know where to go, so they just go home. So that's very inconvenient for the businesses there, and I want to know why that was changed from a left-hand turn signal to making a left-hand turn signal and a U-turn. And we can no longer make a U-turn there. And it wasn't because the cars were stuck or something making a U-turn. I just want to know what was the idea of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, I'll call up Bianca Loreto from the Soledad Enrichment. Loreto, correct?
Loreto, yes.
Soledad Enrichment Action.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Bianca Loreto, and I work with Soledad Enrichment Action. I'm a community health worker, and I wanted to come to give 2 success stories. We were able to collaborate with Captain Hudak, and she's given us an opportunity to do crisis response. And we have one family that we're currently helping with victims of crime to get through and help them with their rent that's been lost, loss of wages, things like that. And also, we have one gentleman who hopefully will be enrolling in our program, but his dad is looking into counseling and therapy. So that's a start. And I just wanted to say thank you so much again, Captain Hudak, for giving us a chance and opening the door. Council members, Mayor, we want to let you know Soledad Enrichment Action is here for any community event, resource fair. So please call on us to be utilized in any way possible. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, I'll call up Maria Camacho for the rent control, item number 4.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es María Camacho y vengo representando a Westland States, a mi comunidad, y estamos muy agradecidos con cada uno de ustedes que hicieron posible que pasara el control de renta. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Reina Mendivil por rent control.
Mi nombre es Reina Mendívil. Es un placer para mí saludar a todos y cada uno de los representantes de nuestra ciudad de Pico Rivera. Estoy aquí también para agradecer por sus votos que hicieron posible la aprobación del control de renta. Es lo más beneficioso para toda la comunidad de mobile homes, y también para decirles que estamos aquí para apoyarlos en todo lo que nosotros podamos, y muy agradecidos.
Gracias. Emilia Rojo. No.
Buenas noches. Estoy bajita. Buenas noches a todos. Es un placer estar aquí. Venimos en el plan de agradecimiento. Yo personalmente estoy muy agradecida porque estuvieron en ese foro y fue muy bonito lo que escuchamos de cada uno de los que están representando la ciudad de Pico Rivera. Estoy dispuesta yo a cooperar con lo que pueda con cada uno de ustedes, especialmente los que firmaron ese control de renta, que es un señor Camacho, muchas gracias, a Lendro Lara y Mónica Sánchez.
Gracias.
Muchísimas gracias, y a todos también les agradezco porque todo lo que dijeron fue muy, muy bonito. Mi comunidad está muy contenta, muy agradecida por esto que pasó de este foro, y pues tenemos el apoyo de ustedes, y también tengan la seguridad que nosotros también vamos a apoyarlos a ustedes. En lo que nosotros podamos estamos para servir. Y muchas gracias nuevamente por todo lo que hicieron, y esperamos que cada uno de ustedes tenga éxito en todo lo que está haciendo. Que Dios los bendiga. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches, gracias. We do have one email public comment from Mr. Jose Sanchez regarding the RSG implementation of mobile home rent control that was received on October 9th. Do we have any public comment on the line?
Madam Mayor, we do have two. First speaker is Diego Rubalcaba.
Our speakers are acting up a little bit, but Diego, are you on the line here? Let's go to the next speaker.
Next speaker is Jose Sanchez.
Jose Sanchez, is he on the line? Then we did receive an email version of the public comment. I think I see Diego's name on there. Let's go with Diego first. Okay, we can hear you now, I think. Yes. Yeah, thank you, Diego. Your time is up. Yes, thank you. And let's go next to Jose Sanchez. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you. Yes, thank you for calling in. Your time is up. Thank you. And City Manager, how many IT people do we have working for the city? And can we get the computers up and running at the senior center?
Yeah, we have one of our IT consultant on board. We have one on the help desk, and we have one full-time staff person.
Got it.
And we'll look into those issues at the senior center.
Thank you. And I want to give a plug as well for the virtual app. If anyone has a smartphone, you can look it up easily, download the My Pico Rivera virtual app, and you can see the full agenda, all of the reports and everything. So it makes it a little bit easier if you have a smartphone. The next item is the consent calendar. Items number 1, 2, 3, and 5 only. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? None. Motion passes. Next, we have the city manager and staff report.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Just have a couple updates. Today, this afternoon, Senator Archuleta met with myself and the executive team. The purpose of the meeting for him was to get acquainted as to some of the things that we're doing moving forward. He definitely wants to be of help in the next legislative session. So he asked a lot of good questions and continues to have support for the city. It was overall a good meeting. I think he's very happy with the direction the city is going, and very impressed of some of the projects that we have working on. Quick update, also, the work on Beverly Boulevard has started. This is the beautification, so irrigation lines are being installed there. Soon, it'll be on San Gabriel Boulevard. Also, the contractor for Whittier Boulevard will be on site tomorrow to get us a schedule, so that work will be starting shortly too. That would be the repaving of Whittier Boulevard from the bridge all the way to Paramount. And also, the senior center parking lot will be repaved tomorrow. We're hoping to get that all striped and ready to go by October the 25th. So those are some quick updates.
Thank you. Next, we have our good of the order, AB 1234 reports. Any new business or old business? A reminder, we may not discuss any items that have not been agendized. So would you like to begin? Councilmember Lara.
Thank you. In regards to AB 1234, I attempted to log into the Southeast Water Coalition meeting, but their Zoom was not working. A few members had difficulties entering. So I wrote them an email at that time, and then I didn't get a response until the meeting finished. They noted that I attempted, so unfortunately I don't have anything to report on that meeting. I'll try to look at the minutes and report back to council on items that were discussed. In regards to other meetings that I attended, I know earlier today, I, along with the city manager and the Parks and Recs director, Pam Ugar, we met and we discussed this fund to help our youth in the community access athletic programs. There's a definite need. We talked about some of the parameters, such as you have to be a resident of the city of Pico Rivera. We talked about some limitations, but we look forward to implementing this program. We're going to give some time for staff to formally write it up, and then it'll come back to council for us to consider. But I think that's a positive. There's a lot of need out there, and these kids, we want to make sure that they play, that they participate in cheer, that they play soccer, that they play football, all of that. We also had, Councilmember Gustavo Camacho and I had an infrastructure ad hoc meeting last week where we talked about the medians coming, we talked about Pico Rivera 2035, and just we started talking about how we move this community forward, some of the bigger items, rapid transit, so on and so forth. But and lastly, there's one item I'd like to introduce. I emailed our city council, Mr. Glassman, in discussions with NASA, our trash contractor that we use. They had pointed out that there are multiple third-party vendors that come in and set up waste haul bins. And that's a problem because NASA is the sole provider in our community per their contract. They've mentioned it to city ordinance, city code enforcement goes out, but there's really not much that they can do other than just citing people, and that's not fixing the problem. There's some issues with that. One, it's loss of revenue on NASA's part. It's loss of revenues on the city part. But also with all these state regulations that are coming down in regards to registering and quantifying and keeping track of refuse and recyclables, we're missing out on that because they're not engaging with the city because these third parties are not contracted with us. So I've introduced an ordinance from the city of Moreno Valley and what they do on some of the enforcement that takes place with third-party vendors who choose to come in and illegally set up. So if I can get a second for city council to look at that item, and then they'll bring that back to us, and then we'll consider it as a council.
Second.
Thank you. And that's I look forward to the Men's Leadership Conference. I'm going to do my very best to attend. Thank you very much. And I look forward to Spooktacular. And I'm sorry that I missed the mobile home forum. I heard that was really a good showing. I had to work that day, but I'm glad you folks did that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have no items regarding AB 1234, but we're looking forward to being a part of the entire council, being of the Men's Youth Conference this Saturday, right? That's where all our young men in our community get to see individuals that are achieving in their respective fields. So looking forward to being a part of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilmember Elias.
Yes, this is, let's see, old business here, but I wanted to ask if we have formally done anything to repurpose the COVID funds that we had set aside for the swimming pool. Now that we're getting funds from the state, are we going to go through a process of looking at it and seeing what funds can be made available to the city or to the community?
Yes, I'll have Angelina give an update on that.
Yes, Councilmember, thank you for the question. So we will be bringing back the first quarter financial review, where we will give a financial summary of the first quarter, obviously, and any positive benefits of any grant monies received.
Will we be getting the, let's see, we dedicated $9 million, didn't we, to the swimming pool?
I think it was 6 million.
It was what?
6 million? 6 million.
Okay.
Yes.
So that'll be coming back?
Yes, we'll bring you back the full cost, the estimated cost of the pool.
Okay.
As well as any grant funding that can now support it and any fallout of any excess ARPA funds that could be dedicated for other purposes. We'll also bring you back the list of unfunded needs that we brought in and the ratings and the results.
I'm sure that'll be a help to your project there in terms of equipment and so on, if we can get that money out to the community. Also, a few 501c3s and businesses have been asking if there was going to be, any money available. So that would be a welcome sight to get that money repurposed. Okay. Let's see, I also want to follow up on my request for the 5-year P&L of the golf course. I still have not received them.
We actually sent those out the day after. We sent them in June. If I get the
No, you did not send the P&Ls, okay? You did not. Okay. I know what a P&L is, all right? You've already said that you tried to do that, but we have not had P&L. In fact, we mentioned it and we talked about it. Those were not P&Ls. What you...
We provided the income statement for the last 5 years.
What is the problem with me requesting them again? What is it?
We provided them subsequent.
Okay, could you provide them again?
Yes, sir.
Councilmember, if I may, if you can schedule a meeting one-on-one separately with finance assistant manager.
I also am following up on the Corps of Engineers invitation on the emergency situation. Are we going to get that meeting?
Yeah, that's going to be in January.
It's going to be in January, okay. Council, I wanted to know what the status is of our request for the report for legal review on my issue.
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, we are currently working with legal counsel from Councilmember Elias, and we should have an answer certainly by the next meeting.
By the next meeting, thank you.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to bring up something that that we had, that we had talked about briefly, but I want to just bring it up for discussion in the next meeting. But I've talked to the city manager. This was a while back ago on the senior citizen rent increase exemption program. Now, that's an existing program that's in several cities now, and it's been very successful and so on. And, our senior citizens right now are facing some very dire problems in terms of the economics, particularly with what's going to be occurring in the immediate future with gas prices increasing and so on. So what I want to do is that I want to bring a proposal and, issue it to each one of the council people, so then I can bring it up for discussion in the next meeting. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Camacho.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have a report. I went to a conference for the California Contract Cities Association. On the executive board and I'm the current event chair. We came up with the concept of emergency preparedness for the top down. I got to be part of a panel regarding emergency preparedness on the local level. I shared my experiences as to how we responded to emergency here in the city of Pico Rivera from all degrees. From as funny as it was when the cows got out, which was an emergency in itself, to the potential that could happen with the Whittier Dam Safety Project. But I want to talk more about it at the next meeting, because I think it's something we need to, as a body, work with. But it was great for me to be part of that. I'm going to thank the captain for providing me information, as well as staff, to be able to present some of the data from being on the city of Pico Rivera and its emergency preparedness and so forth. But a lot going on, but I want to continue that. Also, just want to echo my colleagues. Thank you, Mayor, for the upcoming men's conference. All the youth here in our community, from the high schools, local schools. The women's conference was a success, and I have no doubt that the men's conference will be as successful with all the mentors that are coming up. So thank you for bringing that forward. But I have a couple of things I just need to ask for some clarification on them, and I wanted to ask staff on the clarification. Only because I've heard this being stated at public forums, and want to make sure that I'm not missing something or we're clear on something. It was stated that it was a practice that we as a council, up until recent change, that we received only the last page of a contract, and that was our standard practice. So I want to ask our city clerk and our city attorney, when it comes to, as we had today, any type of agreement or contract, what is the practice or standard of putting the contracts on the agenda? And I guess I can do a question to our city council or our city clerk, who's responsible for that.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, as far as putting a matter or contract before the council, the municipal code provides or vests the power of agenda preparation with the city manager. So as the person who's in charge of general operations of the city is Mr. Carmona's responsibilities to review and evaluate contracts that maybe need to be presented to the city council. Now, certainly the city council itself, through the good of the order process, has an ability to make requests for certain items to come back to the council on the agenda, such as just what happened this evening with Councilmember Lara requesting the waste collection ordinance. But it primarily rests with Mr. Carmona.
So our city manager is responsible to gather all the information, contracts included, and then provided to our city clerk, and the city clerk assembles the agenda, which the checkbox is to make sure that all attachments that are provided are in there. And to our city clerk, from your knowledge and your experience, as we've had it today, we have an item that we approved contract. What's the standard practice to add the entire contract to an item that is before us for discussion and approval? Do you not put it in there, or do you always put it in there?
All contracts are put into the city council agenda. Unless it's too big, then we would say you can see the city clerk's office for a copy of the contract. But it has been our practice that all contracts are attached to the staff reports, and they go to all members of the city council. They're also published, our agenda packets are published online, so members of the public can also review the contracts as well.
So if someone wants to state that I only get the last page of a contract, I mean, and I've been mayor several times, so I understand the role of the mayor as relates to signing contracts. So the only time that you would probably see the last page is, for example, today, after this meeting, our mayor will sit back and sign what we just approved, correct? Would that be the only time that any one of us see one last page?
Yes, the whole contract is provided, but the last page is tabbed for signature. And so normally the mayor would go to that last page of the contract and sign the agreement that has been approved by all city council.
So then the statement that someone would say that I've only got the last page as a common practice, that's a false statement?
That's incorrect. They received the whole contract.
Thank you. Also, I wanted to clarify one other item that I think is of importance because it's something that's been discussed in this community for a while, and I've heard folks talk about it, and I just want to make sure, especially during elections, people will say what they need to say. We talk about, I know we have a variety of different taxes here in our city, and we have the biggest the biggest revenues to our city is sales tax and property tax, correct?
That is correct.
One, aside from the vehicle license and the user fees. What, if any, authority do we as a body here, as a local government, have over changing property taxes? I guess I'll direct to our city attorney, or you all can chime in.
As it relates to property taxes, that's not within the city's jurisdiction. That's
State legislator.
So any changes today would be an act of legislation at the state, and depending on the tax, it has its different. I think it's like 3/4 majority from both houses.
Yeah,
To even touch property taxes.
property taxes is generally a function of the state and county.
So to say for us here as a body that we have the ability to reduce property taxes, is that a false statement?
Yeah, I would say that's not an accurate statement.
Moving on as relates to the sales tax, and I just need clarification, because again, I just think it's important for the community to understand that there's only certain things that we as a local government have control over, and also there are steps to change things. But as it relates to the sales tax, we introduced Measure P some time ago, and we get 100% of the 1%. And even though it was not popular then, and it's still not popular, nobody likes to pay more taxes, but I would ask our city manager, how much does that 1% bring to our city today for that Measure P that was passed by the voters back in 2007?
About $12 million a year.
$12 million a year. So if we were to just hypothetically remove that 1%, those $12 million, what would that do to the city today?
That would be devastating to our budget.
It would be devastating to a budget and services that we provide the community?
Yeah, we would definitely have to reassess all our operations because a $12 million hit to the general fund would, in essence, we'd probably have to cut services, lay off staff, reduce other areas. So
pretty devastating, reduce services, impact staff. Okay, I just want to conclude. I thank you for indulging me in the question. I just think it's important, the clarification to the community, because I know that recently we did have a conversation about putting two measures on the ballot, which we discussed, did the proper hearings, and it now will be on the ballot. If any one of us wanted to, for the sake of argument, put a measure of reducing the sales tax, the opportunity was during that time, right? There was still an opportunity for us to discuss and so forth. Somebody bring it up as it relates to reducing the sales tax, right? And our city attorney?
To reduce the sales tax?
When we talked about the two measures that we approved and they're going to be on the ballot, when we discussed those items, if anybody wanted to put Measure P or any reduction in sales tax, that would have been the opportune time, correct? For us to put another measure on the ballot for approval of the voters?
Yes. The Measure P has language contained within Measure P that allows the city council certain powers and authority over Measure P. Certainly, state law prohibits the increase of any sales tax, and because of the nature of sales tax, we have certain limitations of how much the city can impose because of all the other taxing agencies that are, have their fingers into a sales tax measure.
And the opportunity would have presented itself at the time, and if anybody wanted to, that was the time to do so. I'll just conclude by saying that, look, it was not popular then. We were one of the first cities that introduced the sales tax. Now all cities are following suit for the purpose that the county continuously puts measures on the ballot, quarter cents, 50 cents, and one way or another, we're going to get that increase. Wouldn't we rather take 100% of 1% or basically nothing of 1%, right? So that'd be an issue by itself. But to think that even the thought of eliminating the 1%, $12 million to reduce services and lay off employees, it's just, unquestionable. I just need that clarity because, I just want to make sure that people understand the facts of these taxations and what our governing is in the city. Thank you, Brenda, for that.
Thank you. Okay, I have a couple of updates. I was able to attend the American Legion Auxiliary brunch on Sunday, and it was breast cancer awareness, raising funds for individuals with breast cancer, and it was a great turnout. They had omelets and pancakes and a lot of food, and that American Legion on Serapis is open now, and they have a nice outdoor patio. They had some new chairs, and they're working on renovating and fixing up their American Legion there. Secondly, I was able to attend a scholarship fundraiser for the Margaret Alward with Councilmember Camacho for the Margaret Alward Scholarship through Casa Santa Fe. And they provide basic services like food and clothing and items for residents within Pico Rivera. And they're right across the street from St. Francis Xavier in affiliation with that. So they raised thousands and thousands of dollars. It was a great event at the Pio Pico Women's Club. So Pio Pico Women's Club donate the facility, and it was a great turnout for that event. In addition, we had thank you to the staff that hosted the Red Cross blood drive. So several staff were able to attend. I was able to donate blood, and I know that every year that gives a lot of people life, basically. So I want to thank all the staff that plan that every year. And then I do want to comment additionally to, related a little bit to Councilmember Lada's item with the cost of expenses for sports in the city and activities. A couple of parents and grandparents did comment to me that some of the cost, is there a way that we could balance it out to have a reduced cost for multiple children? So if you have 3 children, it's pretty expensive to put them in. And so if you have a multi-child member discount of some sort, I know we just passed our Parks and Rec, but if we can somehow subsidize that through your project, I know you just had a meeting, but residents did mention that when they have 3 or more children, it does get pretty pricey. So looking into something to help cushion that with that fund. And then I would like to look into the the road boulevard. So in addition to Ms. Rodriguez's comment about the no U-turn, residents have also mentioned to me the lighting and the lighting at Beverly Boulevard. There is no right turn from San Gabriel Parkway onto Beverly Boulevard. And there are the lighting, you can see about signage and why is there no right turn allowed if there is no traffic? And in addition, the U-turn issue on Rosemead Boulevard, if we can get City Public Works and our director to take a look at those issues to help mitigate traffic and make flow a little easier. Secondly, we're super excited about the Boys Conference coming up on Saturday. We're going to have over 150 high school age youth coming in. We have workshops from health and wellness, mental health and wellness, financial literacy, self-defense, as well as a super exciting surprise from a celebrity, which it will be posted soon on our social media. And it's going to be a great day. The luncheon includes a roundtable discussion with mentors, with our council here. Our senator will be there, a judge, a local Latino judge, pediatrician that was a graduate of El Rancho High School, our sheriffs, our fire department, our city manager, our city attorney will have the opportunity to sit with a table of about 8 youth, and they'll ask them question and answer, just a casual luncheon, and get to learn more about our local Latino leaders. So I'm super excited about that for our boys. That's going to be at Pico Park, and I think we're already at capacity, right? So with that's coming up on Saturday. And then I want to give a shout out and advertisement to our Spooktacular on October 29th. Super popular. There's contests for every age group. So come out, dress up, be creative, and it's going to be a lot of fun as usual. Candy, jumpers, and there are a lot of people. So watch our social media for parking and all of the directions and instructions, and it'll be a good time. So I think that is it for me. We do have a closed session item, Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. We do have one item for closed session under conference with labor negotiator as posted on the agenda.